Scott Frost, UCF football coach, with us on 365 Sports, and I guess this is like a sequel with Scott Frost at UCF, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Some sequels come out way later. I feel like it's more like the last Indiana Jones movie. Like it took a while to get here, but it's fun to be back. My wife and I love Orlando. We're happy to be home.
When you were there the first time, obviously it ended with the great success, then you moved, and then you come back. Has it changed at UCF? Now obviously a part of the Big 12 Conference?
There's a lot that's the same. It feels, like home. I love going into work every day, but the university is so new and it's growing so fast. Our alumni base is growing. The university is growing. Our donor base is growing. And the potential for growth at UCF is so great that I'm excited to be on the ride. Like I can't wait to watch where UCF is several years down the road.
Sean Connery stopped being James Bond for a little while and then came back and did another one after Roger Moore. So that could be you.
Was that Never Say Never Again?
I want to say that's the one where he's back. He's a little older James Bond.
No, I mean,
not that you're not much older than that, but that could be. I mean, I would rather be Sean Connery in that situation.
You're right. That's
what you should tell people.
That's better than the last Indiana Jones movie.
he was
better metaphor.
He was on top of that train. I was like, oh, he's old. It's that's scary. So you've stepping into a situation that you were familiar with. Does it allow you to maybe hit the ground running in a different way than when you are at other places? Like even as a coordinator, when you're at Oregon or whatever, where you have to know the lay of the land. Now you know this lay of the land. It's just enhanced.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some advantages to that. We obviously knew a lot of high school coaches around Florida. I knew a lot of the people still at UCF. Just knew my way around town, which helped. But college football's changed too. I had to learn on the fly with all the new rules and transfer portal and NIL, and now that's changing, and it'll continue changing. I think the only thing you can bank on is it'll be different 6 months from now, so you're going to have to stay light on your feet. So there's some challenges, but there was also a lot of familiarity.
So one of the things that's different is the league, right? Your first Big 12 media days, just kind of what's your thoughts on the league and what you know of it as, and kind of your expectations rolling in this year and playing against a lot of the people here today.
It's exciting. I was part of the Big 12 as a player,
right?
When it started, and being away and watching the league's fun to watch because there's so much parity in this league. Said this a few times today, but I think you can make an argument for any team in this league that if they put it together and have a great season, they could win this league, and that's not the case in every league. I love the brand of football, high scoring, and there's a lot of different styles in this league, which I think make it fun to watch. And it's exciting to be in a league where if we do everything right and our team comes together, we're going to have a chance, and that's fun.
Slightly different Big 12 from when you played. I forgot that you played there at the tail end, but a little bit of a different looking league, is it not? I mean, almost wholesale different in a lot of ways.
It is. There's a lot of familiar schools and places, and there'll be some stadiums that I've been in before a long time ago. But obviously, Utah and Colorado weren't in it, and Cincinnati wasn't in it, and there's some UCF wasn't in it, so there's some different ones. And I give the leadership of the Big 12 a lot of credit for keeping this thing together and building it into the conference it is now.
Kenny Dillingham earlier today said to us that there's no week is the same week, even though a lot of teams may have similar styles, whatever. But as an offensive guy, looking at the defenses that you face week in and week out is like a Rubik's Cube. You just don't know that there's so many different angles or whatever. That's a great challenge for a coach, is it not?
It is, and I think, like I said, there's a variety of styles in this league. I haven't been in a few different leagues. Every league kind of takes on its own trends, I would say. This league has been kind of a 3-3 stack, and it's been kind of unique to Big 12 for a long time. But there's teams that run other things, and you got to solve that riddle every week. And the variety in this league is really interesting to me. Not everybody doesn't look the same in this league.
You were quarterback in college, and then you played defense in the pros, and then you've been in a whole bunch of different offensive systems where it's Tom Osborne's, power eye, or it's, coaching at Oregon and spread and what you've run. How does that give you the perspective to when you create new things or when you adjust to new things to know how a quarterback thinks, how a linebacker thinks, how a safety thinks, maybe a little bit different than most?
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've experienced a lot, and that I'm going to date myself here by talking about all the things that I've been a part of. But
I mean, I just said the power eye. Nobody knows what that is anymore.
No, you don't see that anymore. But
Yeah.
I went to Stanford out of high school and played for Bill Walsh and learned the West Coast. And then I learned Coach Osborne's offense. And then I went to the NFL and played for Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick and finished my career with the Tampa 2 with Monty Kiffin in Tampa and Raheem Morris and Mike Tomlin. And then I ended up at Oregon when Chip was changing college football with the offense he was running. And then my last stop watching Sean McVay's offense. So it's been fun, man, as a guy that loves football, just being around those type of systems and people. I've learned a lot.
Matt, you remember Matt Copeland from Barefoot Athletics?
I do.
You were recruiting, I think, Jarrett Stidham at the time. He told me a story. Got to know him. He's a sponsor of our show. That he said you're one of the most natural guys on a recruiting visit that he'd ever met before. Because Jarrett had been recruited by a lot of different people. Ended up at Baylor, as you know. But he told me that you got like, you pulled a dip out, popped it in your mouth, and just started talking. And I hope you don't mind me bringing that up, because he said you were just so natural in that environment.
Yeah, I've stopped dipping now, which my wife is happy about. But I went down to Stephenville. Jared was one of my favorite kids I recruited, and he and I hit it off. I was at home in a place like Stephenville, Texas, anyway. But it's easy to recruit when you love the place you are and you believe in it. And when I was at Oregon, I really believed in it. We were looking for the next great quarterback, and thought we were going to get Jarrett, and he ended up going somewhere else. Then I ended up coaching against him in my last game at UCF. He was at Auburn.
Oh, that's right.
What a great young man. Wish I could have had a chance to work with him.
Scott Frost, the head coach at UCF, with us on 365 Sports.
You enter this year with a quarterback competition, which is it exciting or terrifying or both?
It's both. The exciting part is there's been a lot of years I've gone into a season with, I don't think one quarterback as good as the three we have, any one of them. I would feel good about going into the year with any one of the three. The scary part is, we want that to reveal itself sooner rather than later, so that we can start developing some continuity and getting some reps for the right guy. If I knew right now, we'd already do that, but all three guys have shown enough that they deserve a shot, and I really don't know who it's going to be right now.
So the quarterback competition and your return, I think, are easily the two biggest headlines and probably the things that you talk about the most. What would you maybe like to talk about that's not maybe as covered when it comes to your football team, and maybe some things you're excited about?
I think over time in this season, if things go well, there'll be some different narratives. We got a lot of great kids. We got a lot of talent. If we don't succeed this year, I don't think it'll be because of talent. It'll be because we have 70 new players on our football team and trying to get a collection of individuals to work together as a team. There's a fine line between winning and losing, and sometimes that just comes down to culture, attitude, competitiveness, and how close-knit your team is. And we're working really hard to make sure that we take a group of people and turn them into a cohesive unit.
Does the transfer portal, is it easier or more difficult for an incoming coach?
It was hard during the transfer portal. There was days I was wishing I hadn't even thought about doing this. It was 6 a.m. till midnight and falling asleep with my phone in my hand for 5 weeks. You have to evaluate, negotiate, bring kids in, talk to people. You're making deals, losing deals, getting kids, losing kids, not even sure who's on your roster or who's staying, and then trying to fill holes that you don't know if you have or not. The positive thing I would say is it doesn't take 3 years of recruiting and developing anymore to flip a roster. I came in and I think we had 48 scholarship players when I showed up on campus, and we needed 85. So we had a lot of work to do, but we were able to go out and get the kids that fit our system and kids that we evaluated, that we wanted. And so you're able to turn it over a lot faster.
What would you, if you could make the structure of how the off season goes, what would you make it of how a roster needs to be built now? Because it does seem to be more professionally based, where a general manager is an actual general manager, and the coach can maybe be the closer as opposed to the primary recruiter. And the calendar is just messed up for you guys. I feel for college coaches that have to deal with the calendar that's so upside down and crossways for you.
Yeah, It's not fun, but nobody wants to hear us complain. We get compensated really well, and we get to do a job that we love doing and be around a sport we love to be around. So nobody wants to hear complaining. It's not in a good place right now, but that's where it is. So we got to stay light on our feet and adjust. And I think everybody wants one transfer portal. The thought of building a team and then not sure who you're going to lose after you've already been working with them and lose them again, that's tough. The big thing for me is, they're really pushing to get the rev share model done, and I'm grateful for that. There's a question right now if people are going to be limited to that rev share, if they're going to be able to spend tens of $1 million over that in NIL. And I think that's a battle that's coming. In my opinion, college football is a better game if everybody has the same standards and the same resources to work with. Teams with advantages aren't going to want to give that up. But college football is not in a good place if the game turns into whoever has the richest boosters wins.
Well, your boosters, your alums, as a young school, are all young, very, very young, and some of them have been incredibly successful in business. Mark Daniels was talking about that, voice of UCF. Is that a good thing that they're young and maybe aggressive, or do you have some of the old donors that have been around? You don't have that much.
We have both. We have 4 or 5 gentlemen that have been carrying the weight for UCF athletics for a long time. It's kind of transitioning now. We're such a new school, and we have such a growing alumni base that sooner or later those people are going to go out and do well, and we're going to be in a really good spot. But we're kind of in puberty right now going through. We don't have the support and resources that some other people do, but give us 5 or 10 more years and we'll be a heavy hitter.
Have you ever just randomly thought at all, just I don't know, it's a random day or somebody gets free time, how much Scott Frost, the player, could have maybe commanded an NIL?
Yeah, I'm so happy the players get compensated now, because what they do is it's a lot. They're putting their life at risk and their health at risk. It's just out of control.
Yeah.
And there has to be some guardrails around it. I remember when this started and they said, this isn't paper play, this is NIL. Well, we went zooming by that really fast. And 3 years ago, Ryan Day, who I have a lot of respect for, just coming off a national championship, made a lot of news when he said we need $13 million a year to be competitive. Well, that was two and a half years ago, and now we're looking at teams spending 40 or 50 million. So I don't know where it's going to stop unless we can get a handle on it. And like I said, NFL, I was just in the NFL. It's such a great game because everybody plays by the same rules, and the games always come down to the last drive, and makes it a competitive, exciting sport. And I hope that for college football at some point.
Well, it's not like, I think the thing that gets lost in the thing is it's not about capping the compensation that players can have, but it's making it realistic so they also don't get screwed, right? I mean, there's predatory people out there that are doing these, like how many, we've heard a lot of deals that don't go through, and also just making it worth it to like an 18-year-old kid is probably has a lot on him if all of a sudden he's got $5 million and he hasn't played a snap yet.
Well, when you're talking about NIL is supposed to be commensurate with the value that they bring the companies that they're working for, representing. There's very few 18-year-old kids that have enough name recognition to be worth that kind of money. So you can call it NIL if you want to, but it's pay for play. And I really admire the moves that they're trying to make to try to reel it back in. But the genie's out of the bottle now, and smarter than people than me are working on it.
When you left Nebraska and eventually the NFL, as you mentioned, did you think you'd be a head coach again?
I didn't know if I wanted to. I really am grateful to the Rams. Was out there with Sean and Les for a while, and their whole staff is just unbelievable guys and smart guys. And that really kind of reignited my passion for doing it after taking it on the chin really bad. Kind of wanted to stay in the NFL. UCF's probably the only job I would have taken because my wife and I loved Orlando, and I got so much love for the school and the people there that wanted to go to try to help again. So I'm happy to be back.
What are the expectations for you, for yourself, this first year? You said you got to win. You should win. You have a loaded roster. What are your expectations?
I didn't say loaded roster. You said that.
Got some good talent.
I'm sorry. You said you had a lot of talent. We should not misquote you.
Yes, thank you. We just got to stick to our plan and try to be better every single day, try to get better every single practice and better every single game. I think we got enough talented players that we're not going to get outclassed a lot. It just literally comes down to how well we can get that talent playing like a team.
Can you sneak the power eye into just like one formation? For me, I miss
Please.
seeing it. I miss fullbacks. There's
Oh,
guys out there that could be fullbacks.
Hey,
They're
there are people
starving.
too.
Were you a fullback?
No, I've always wanted to be. I wasn't fast enough.
It's funny watching football over my lifetime, and football is so cyclical, and usually things that go away, and then something else becomes a trend, and then it circles back. And I imagine usually when you're the outlier too, you have a little bit of an advantage. So there'll be someone along the line that goes back to doing something like that, and teams won't know how to fit two-back runs anymore, and they'll get an advantage.
I still think Nebraska should never gotten away from what they ran. But I know there was the transition, Solich to Callahan or whatever, and it went out the window because that my God, it was so successful.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them or that place. It is about us, but I will say, Frank should have been the coach there a long time. I think he got let go after a 9 or 10 win season.
Yep.
He was a great coach. He kept a lot of what it was alive, and I got so much admiration for Frank.
Would you mind me asking about the influence Coach Osborne had on you?
No, not at all. I've been lucky to be around some good people, like I said, from Coach Walsh and Coach Osborne on down the line. Coach Osborne, above all else, is just a good man. Him and probably Mike Tomlin and Raheem Morris at my last stop in the NFL had the most impact on me and how I like to approach things as a coach. And I root for those guys because of what they did for me.
Do you think Raheem is about to? I have a feeling he's about to break out. His first go wasn't the perfect situation for him, but I have a feeling he's about to be one of those guys in the NFL people.
No, see, I'm
know.
a Raheem guy. He got that job young at Tampa because he deserved it.
Yeah.
And they overhauled the roster, and he still, I think, outperformed what they expected, and he got let go anyway and battled to get another chance, and go Falcons.
How much do your current players know about Scott Frost, the player?
Oh, very little. It's been too long. I don't know when these guys were born anymore, but it was in the 2000s.
Yeah. At least you got YouTube, though, right?
My last year playing was, I guess, in Tampa in 03 or 04, and a lot of these guys weren't born. So, I can pull up a YouTube once in a while, but I'm not that arrogant.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. I appreciated all you did as a player. I remember when you beat Tennessee and then you made in the interview, you said you were number one. I'll always appreciate you for that. And also what you did at UCF and what you're getting ready to do at UCF. I appreciate all that.
Thank you. I've had a chance to be around some really good teams over time, and it's hard to go undefeated in college football, and I've been a part of that a few times too, and mostly just because of other people and leadership around us. And we got a big mountain to climb to try to have one of those special years again.
They said that about Arizona State last year. Look at what they did.
You're right.
They've said that about Cincinnati one year. They said that about TCU one year. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, I hope you're talking about us in a year.
No, that's exactly
And your
what
loaded
I'm talking.
roster.
Yeah.
Stop putting words in my mouth.
If you end up winning big, I'll remember. I will bring that up. Scott Frost, head football coach at UCF, with us on 365 Sports.